Hey guys, we're live. Happy Friday. Okay, so I have a little bit of a different setup going on here today. I have my MacBook propped on a box on the bed because I moved all of this spooky stuff into the bedroom so that I could have some quiet space to record. But because it's on the bed, the microphone is off to the side. So just quickly let me know that you can hear me okay. I can maybe shift it a little bit, but if you can't hear me, let me know. Hopefully you can hear me and everything is good because I have kind of a precarious setup over here today because I'm going to show you some things. We're going to continue on with our kind of witchier chat today, which I'm so excited about. I feel like I've got some good energy going. Thank you guys so much. Alexa says, I can hear you. We can hear you. Hi, everybody. Okay, Renee, thank you. Yay, thanks, everybody. Okay, so I just remembered, too, that I think there are some questions in the Coven, and I need to check the Discord, too. But we're going to talk a little bit today about Book of Shadows. So I actually have a blank notebook here, which isn't going to show you a lot, but we're going to talk about what goes into a Book of Shadows and kind of how it originated and that kind of thing. And I'm going to show you some of my pins and things that I'm doing. We're also going to talk today about the Spooktacular, which is coming up. So the Spooktacular, if you were not part of the community last year or you weren't able to get into last year's Spooktacular stuff with us, it is going to be 13 full days of Halloween. So it will start on the 18th of October and it will be some kind of event and giveaway every single day for 13 days. And a lot of the information and like fun games and different things like that that are going on for the Spooktacular will take place on my website at sarahcannon.com on the blog and also in the Coven and Discord channels. So if you are not in the Facebook group, but you're on Facebook, come join us in the Facebook group, which is called Sarah Cannon's Coven. I will post things to my main facebook.com/Sarah Cannon page as well. But if you want to come join us, we have like 3,600 people in the Coven, which is so awesome. And so we're going to really like ramp it up and have a lot of cool, like there'll be some exclusive things that get posted to the Coven group and to the Discord. So if you are not on Facebook, which I know Facebook is not good for everyone, then come join us in the Discord server. And even if you don't know how Discord works or anything like that, we will help you. And it's an amazing group of people over there too. So come join either one. We may end up doing a Spooktacular channel that just is like specifically for the Spooktacular, or we might just leave it in the positive vibes or positive energy. I forget what we call that thread, but I am very excited to share some of this information with you guys. And we have a few questions that have come in over in the Coven. Plus, I wanted to tell you about something cool that has happened to me in terms of the like kind of cool synchronicities and things coming together at exactly the right time. I also had a bit of what I would say is an energy shift. Oh, Ale, I'm so glad to see you. I did get your email, by the way. I wanted to let you know, if any of you have sent me an email or a message that I have not responded to, please don't ever feel like it's because I'm ignoring you. It's usually just because I'm so inundated. I don't have a lot of executive function to be making decisions. And there's a lot of places and a lot of people that contact me on a daily basis. And it's hard to answer everybody. So it is nothing personal. But we are going to talk about kind of a cool synchronicity that I know you guys will get a kick out of. Another fun thing is that I have actually now recorded all of the Demons Forever episodes, except for the final episode, which I will be reading live, which will happen the 27th or whatever that Wednesday is, the last week of October. So that one will be live, but the rest of them are already recorded. And in episode 21, I was literally sobbing and crying as I'm reading. And then my camera battery went dead. So I was like, oh gosh, I've got all this like raw emotion. And then I have to stop, gather myself together, close the camera, change out the battery, try to find something fun, and then get back into the emotion of it. So it was kind of fun. Sarah Lee says, is that a Bride of Frankenstein shirt? It is, but with a twist. It's Minnie Mouse Bride of Frankenstein. So we are going to Disney in 11 days, I think it is. And I am so ridiculously excited about it. The kids are getting excited. Honestly, we don't want to leave this house because this has been the most peaceful house. We've just loved it. We don't even leave the house. We pretty much just stay here except to run to the grocery store. One of us will run every week. But other than that, we've mostly been staying here at the house and we just love it. So at least we've got a good thing to look forward to with, with Disney coming up. This shirt was at Target in the women's section and it is so cute. And I thought, okay, we're going to Disney at Halloween. I have to have this shirt. So, it's all good. George is like, okay, we have to be careful what stuff we're buying because if we want to buy anything at Disney, we have to make space for it. So I am slowly making space and using things up. So that's one of the synchronicities that I wanted to tell you guys about is using something up. And I will kind of talk about this a little bit in the notebook challenge coming up this weekend too. But this notebook I have talked about before. Sometimes it has a different cover on it. But this is basically my TV show / movie manifestation notebook. And it just basically says, excited for my successful TV show, can't wait. And then this little sticker says, magic is only a page away, which I think is a great little happy planner quote. I also have this little thing I wrote at the beginning, which you can see I will always remember because Evie has marked it with her own signature scribble here. But it says, enjoy the adventure, which is kind of a reminder to myself. Now, I started this manifestation journal all the way back in February, I think of 2020. So it has been something that I have been writing in occasionally over the course of almost 2 years. And I'm just trying to remind myself to enjoy the adventure, that sometimes when you're trying to bring something big into your life, it's going to take some time and it doesn't matter. I just have to trust the timing that if it's meant to be for me, it will be in the time that's right for me. And I carried this with me, even though it was a notebook that was almost completely filled out already. I had to be careful about what we're bringing since we only have so much space in the car. Here is this is old school vision boarding. I'm going to talk on this side because the mic's over here. I do most of my vision boarding in my digital stuff now, but this one I actually cut pictures out, printed them and cut them out. And I have things on here like Vampire Diaries, an Emmy Award, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, some examples of maybe some dresses I would wear on the red carpet. I have a picture of me speaking at the RWA conference where it was such a crazy feeling to do that RWA conference because I remember very clearly sitting in the back as there were some people already speaking in the room and I was waiting for my turn. And every time somebody would leave the room, because this was this huge ballroom at the RWA in, where were we? Denver, I think. Is that right, Christabelle? I think that was the same one that I met you at. But there were so many people there. And the whole room was packed. And I kept thinking, oh my gosh, when these, super famous authors are done speaking, the whole room's going to clear out because nobody knows who I am. I was like a last minute addition when somebody else got sick. And I was like, oh, well, I'm just going to be grateful for literally anybody that comes to this talk. And every time somebody would leave the room, there would be just this roar of talking outside in the hallway. And I kept looking and I was like, what's happening? And my editor, Faith, was standing next to me and she goes, you realize all the people standing out there are waiting for you, right? They're waiting to come in when this one's over. And I just was completely floored. It was one of the most fulfilling and exciting moments. And they weren't necessarily there because they knew who I was, but they were excited to hear what I had to say about productivity because we all feel overwhelmed in our lives. But I had to I had a friend take this photo of me speaking because the room, I mean, there were hundreds of people in that room and it just felt so good. And I thought, okay, I want to feel that feeling. You know, I want to remember how good that felt. And then I have a picture of George and I like clinking some glasses together. I think we're drinking apple sake there. And then on the second page, I have Veronica Mars, which you guys know is important to me. Some like Hulu, Netflix, Prime. I don't care where it shows. Like, let's just get it on TV. And a little thing that says ready for your chance to shine. And also a little picture of me when I was in LA. Again, Evie has drawn all over this stuff. One of my book pictures, things like that. So the cast of Pretty Little Liars with the author standing there with the author. So that's kind of how I started my manifesting notebook. And then the rest of the notebook is stuff like journaling about it as if it has already happened. So it's kind of like future journaling. Like, I'm so excited to turn on the TV and see my name up there, you know, kind of stuff that might seem silly, but is so powerful when it comes to the way you feel about your dreams. It makes it feel like it's more achievable. And some of it is like manifesting rituals, like writing my book's TV series is a huge success over and over, 55 by 5 ritual, which we talked about before. And then it's stuff like, here's what I'm currently attracting into my life. Here are things that I'm excited to bring into my life. Different tarot readings. Like here, I got the Wheel of Fortune when I was asking about the year. It was the end of the year. So just different things like that. And this entire notebook is filled with it. And I sat down the night of the new moon and I finished the journal, very last pages of it. And when I finished it, I was sitting out by the pool, by the water, had my candles going, and I was thinking, am I really ready for this? Like I've mentioned to you guys before, there have been some negative things coming into my life. It's like this past year of like criticisms and stuff, which I tend to be extra sensitive to. And I was like, am I really ready for this? Like more public stage for people to criticize beautiful demons, because, you know, like look at Stephanie Meyer with Twilight. It's like hugely popular, but there are so many people that like hated on Stephanie Meyer. Like she can't write, this book's terrible. And it's like, you know, that's just part and parcel of having your book made into a TV series. Some people are going to hate it. Some people are going to be disappointed in how it gets adapted. There's going to be so much that goes to it. And I thought, you know what, I have to be able to face those fears and really step into the confidence of I'm ready for this and it'll be super fun and it's going to be an amazing experience. So I finally wrote about it. And as I was saying, this sounds so crazy, right? I just can't even believe it, but it's just a sign, right? So as I'm sitting out there, I'm writing this stuff out, and I wrote at the very bottom, I was like, within the next 24 hours, just send me a subtle sign that this is coming for me, that somehow this is going to play out in my life experience, that I will get some kind of TV deal or something. And I won't say who it is because I don't want to like, you know, their privacy, whatever. But I got an email from a super famous person that just was like, hey, I've seen that you're interested in film, you know, adapting your stuff to film. If you ever want to have a Zoom call and let's chat over coffee, let me know. And that is just like literally came the next morning. And that kind of thing where you ask for a sign of something that you've been working toward or thinking about for years, and then to have that happen is no coincidence. And I truly believe that. And so when I believe things that are like synchronicities and signs, and, you know, that there is more to life than just getting up every day and going through the motions, that there is truly magic there. That's no coincidence. Like you couldn't make that up. And it was in my Sarah Cannon email, which I check my heart breathings email almost every day, just because I have people that I'm teaching in courses and I want to make sure everybody's getting their planners and, you know, anything like that. But I don't check my other emails every single day. And I went in to check it the next morning, not expecting anything. And I saw this name and I went and looked, and it was like, hey, by the way, if you want to chat about this. And I just was like, this is so incredible. And the fact that this person thought well enough of me to reach out to me just means the world to me, and that they're willing to give me some of their precious time. It just made me feel so good. So it was perfect timing, divine timing. And I just wanted to share that with you guys, because the fact that it happened as I'm finishing up this notebook that I've been working on for almost 2 years to bring this into existence just meant so much to me. So that is an amazing sign and synchronicity. And I wanted to share that with you guys because it's flipping cool. I just love it. So also, we are going to chat about a regular book of shadows. So this book is not something official or anything like that. It's just what I call my manifestation book. And I have done this several times for different things. One quarter, I think I shared this with you guys once before. One quarter, I put at the beginning all the things I wanted to see happen by the end of the quarter. It was kind of like taking my goals and putting them into a vision board like this. And then every single day, I journaled nothing but positive things about how I was working toward that particular goal. Like, I want to hit 20,000 subscribers. I want to get a BookBub ad. I want to make X amount of dollars. I want to lose 10 pounds, just like every little thing that I wanted to bring into my life. And by the end of that quarter, I had literally everything that I had put on that list was mine, except one thing that came like a month later. And I feel like there is great power in, number one, and this is something I'm learning over and over and over again, like having to reteach myself, is that there is great power in believing in yourself. And I don't mean to get emotional here necessarily, but just that so many of us growing up are taught by either our peers, our teachers, or even our parents or people who are adults who are in power over us. We're taught that we're not worthy or that there's something wrong with us. And some of it is just disciplinary, right? It's like I tell my son, like, you're being too loud in this restaurant. Like, you got to teach him manners and stuff like that. But at the same time, there are some things that teach you that you're wrong, that you're flawed, that you're not good enough, that you're not pretty enough, that you don't belong, that you're never going to get anywhere with your life, right? And all of us have experiences like that. And if you don't have experiences like this, then I am really, really happy for you, because I wish that no one had to go through that. And I feel like, George says sometimes that I baby the kids a little bit, and I probably do, but that's what makes us a good balance as parents. But it's like, I feel like one of my number one jobs with my children is to teach them that they are worthy, that they're good just as they are, and that they're allowed to be flawed, and that they are allowed to reach for their dreams, and that they deserve it. And there's nothing fundamentally wrong with them just because they make mistakes, or just because they don't fit into a certain mold, or they're not like other people in every way, or they disappoint people. You still deserve love just as you are. And I feel like this is a constant lesson in my life, and probably many of yours as well, is really learning to believe in yourself and find your confidence when you're reaching for big goals. And some people don't even allow themselves to reach for the things they really want because they've been put down so much. So if that is you, then I'm here today to just give you a little push of encouragement and tell you that I truly believe that if something has been put onto your heart, in your mind, as like, I would love to do that, even if it seems like something totally crazy, like having a TV series based on a book you wrote, like that feels so wild and like out there in so many ways for me. But it's like, that can happen for me, literally can happen for me. The other thing that was sort of a sign / synchronicity that happened this week, and I took a photo of it on my phone of someone's Instagram, like a screenshot. How many of you have read books by Stephanie Perkins? So she started out in her career writing kind of quirky, fun young adult novels like Anna and the French Kiss. I loved that book. I'm sure some of you have read that or feel feel familiar with that. And then there were a couple sequels to it. And then she started writing some like horror / thrillers. And I didn't even know that she was writing those. I had only heard of her first books. Yes, I just watched that movie. I didn't watch it yet, but I'm going to talk about it a little bit. I was same thing going on with the new moon, all this, it's all happening in that same time period where I'm asking for signs. And I happened to see Kirsten White, who's another New York Times bestselling author that I follow for young adult. And she had posted about her friend Stephanie Perkins having her book made into an original Netflix movie. So I immediately went over to Stephanie Perkins' thing. I went and bought her 2 books and I was like, oh my gosh, I just feel like that was another sign, because when you see that someone else is achieving that, then you know it's also possible for you, because if they can do it, you can do it too. And it means they're paving the way for everybody else who wants that TV deal. And it was just so exciting to like, I don't know Stephanie personally, but it was so exciting to be like sitting here celebrating her and that success. Let me know what you think of the movie, Sarah Lee. I would love to know. She said, I read the book earlier this year, but I was so excited to see it. And yes, I loved Anna and the French Kids. Yes, that's a good typo. The French Kiss. She's such a great writer. And now I'm like, how did I not know she was writing like the genre I love even more? Sarah says they did a good job on the adaptation. The movie was so good. So we are going to just sidebar. We are going to, during the Spooktacular, have a watch party again. So this is going to go through teleparty, which means that you have to have a Netflix subscription to watch it with us. So if you don't have a Netflix subscription, maybe you could do a free trial and join us. I don't know. And some countries have access to certain things. So some people will be left out on it, but it is fun to try to do it through Netflix. But I was thinking maybe we would watch that movie. But we also might do something else. So we'll end up putting a poll to see kind of what we could watch. Now, if you can also do on the teleparty, you can do Disney Plus. So Hocus Pocus would be really fun to watch. But I think less people have Disney Plus than they have Netflix. So we'll see how it goes. Technically, we did a watch party on Discord, but technically I don't have the rights to do movie watching on Discord. So I don't want to really get in trouble. I'm kind of a rule follower by nature. So we're going to do some watch party, but we will do it through teleparty. And I will give you guys some instructions on that kind of thing. But I just felt like this is an important thing to talk about, is that not hocus pocus, but just believing in yourself is very powerful. And it is tough when you grow up with people, or you're surrounded by people who don't believe in you or constantly put you down, or when you feel like there's just constantly one block after another put in your way. And I truly believe that if we can find a way to tune out those other voices, and we can learn to listen to that inner voice inside ourselves, that the way will appear. And we don't have to be, that's why I wrote enjoy the journey on here. We don't have to be anxious about when it's coming, because knowing when it's coming is not my job. My job is just to believe and to keep showing up, to keep writing, because maybe it's not Beautiful Demons. Maybe it's The Witch's Key, or maybe it's something I haven't written yet, The Disappearance of Vanessa Shaw, or something like that, that will end up being the thing that gets adapted. And it can't be adapted until I've written it. So you kind of never know. But I just think that it is so important to learn to believe in yourself. And as I started having this kind of remembrance to get back to my own power, instead of allowing what people say to me in DMs, or my own fears or threats, I haven't really, my spiritual guru, Tanya, and I talked about this on Wednesday night. And one of the things that I haven't really been able to share with you, but she says maybe I should actually share some of the particulars about it, but I haven't fully decided if I'm going to yet or not. But this year has been not just full of mean DMs, that kind of stuff doesn't really get to me that much, but it's been pure harassment and attacks on my family and myself, some of them actually happening at my home, which, hey, worked out great because we left and now nobody knows where we are exactly, hopefully. But, it's been a rough year for that kind of stuff for me. And so whenever I get pulled back into and pulled under by some of those things that seem to be happening all around me, I have to find a way to say, I am still worthy. I am still a good person. I am not going to let people walk all over me. I am not going to let people take my power away from me. I have had too many instances in my life where I have allowed people to take my power away. And even when I had no choice in the matter, obviously certain attacks that are terrible, you can't, it's not even about allowing, it's just about surviving, right? But it's like, I have to get into a place where I am not letting that get me down, where I'm not letting it deter me, and where instead of like, I almost want to apologize to you guys in a way, because I feel like sometimes over the past few months, there have been moments where I have come to you guys and just been like kind of complaining, almost like I'm a victim of this stuff. And I just feel like I have to switch my energy and stop feeling like, poor me, it sucks that I'm going through this. And instead think, I am taking control of myself and my family, and I am confident in how we are living our lives. And I know that we're doing the best, and I know who I am deep down. And although I hope that you guys can see the kind of person that I am, there are going to be some people that misunderstand or misrepresent me. And that is okay, because I can't control what other people do, but I can control how I show up and what my energy is like for you guys. And as long as I can be here to serve you guys, to support you, and to give you guys my energy and, share what I know and what I believe, and we can have this community where we all feel supported, then that's really what matters, not the people that will try to tear me down or you down or any of us down. And that doesn't mean I'm never going to make mistakes or do things that upset you, but it means that I will take responsibility for anything that I do feel like I did wrong. And I will continue to show up as what I feel like is doing my best. So that is just kind of my little spiel there. But what was so awesome about it is I got on the phone with Tanya. You guys know Tanya Gonzalez. I talk about her all the time. She's so incredible. And I've texted her and I was like, I need your help. And she was like, let me do a reading for you right away. And she did a 30-minute reading for me on Wednesday night. And it was so incredible. And I feel like a switch turned on inside of me of like, you know what? This is what's been holding me back. And this is the reason that we're on this journey, that we're looking for a new home, that things have been kind of upended for us, that all these things have been coming together all in 1 year is a lesson that I've needed to learn to get back to believing in myself, not being cocky or self-centered or self-obsessed, which somebody called me recently, or narcissistic, somebody called me recently. That's not what it's about. And if that's how you see me, that is your issue, not mine. But I need to get back to a place where I believe in myself. And I think especially as people who have, grown up around people that didn't believe in them, we sometimes feel like we have to justify, or we have to feel guilty when we're happy, or we have to prove ourselves in extra ways. And I know that there are some people here listening that have felt that way, that have felt like they truly have never had anybody that believes in them. So I will tell you right now that I believe in you, and that I think together we can make a difference in the world, that we can, this one small community of people is capable of changing the world. Because if I can believe in you and you can believe in me and we can all work together, then we can go after our dreams in new ways and believe in ourselves. And it's that saying, which I know sounds so cheesy, of like, we rise by lifting others, we rise together. And I feel that really does truly happen, that if we can play on the energy of each other, celebrate each other's joy, and continue to learn from each other, lift each other up, then it's like, there's so many of us that can make a difference in the world in our own unique way by believing in ourselves. And speaking of witchy things, I was supposed to talk about this bullet journal, which I will talk about in a second, but I bought this candle from Lunam Love called I Have Arrived. And she did a live sale, and I missed the live sale. And I was like, no, I need this candle. But this has like snake skin in it and all kinds of stuff. It has these like roses. And basically it says, this candle sets your solar plexus on fire to make your presence known. It is programmed with affirmations that flow into your subconscious and allow you to believe in yourself 100%. This candle will allow you to step out into the world as your authentic self. And I've been working a lot on healing my solar plexus chakra. And so she created this candle. It's like a huge affirmation candle. And I have known that it is not time yet for me to light it. And of course, my husband is like, you're taking all these really heavy candles. And I'm like, I'm bringing my candles. They're coming with me. I can put them underneath a seat, but they're coming with me. And I feel like now is the time I am ready to light this candle and say, I am ready to claim what is meant for me and start believing in myself. And so this morning, you guys know that I draw a tarot card every morning. This morning, this is the card that I got. It smells like apricot. It smells so good. It really does smell so good. This is the card that I got. So this is the Light Seers Tarot. But this is what I'm talking about. It's like when you shift your energy and you believe in yourself, it's amazing the types of signs and synchronicities that can come into your life. It is the coolest, like magical thing. But this is the card. It just popped out of the deck and I thought, okay, this is perfect. So if you look at it, she's got these wands that are pointed at her, like potentially aggressively, but she's sitting on her little mat in her yoga position with her solar plexus chakra shining like the sun. And she has this bubble around her and she's turned and she's like, I am not paying attention to you. I am believing in myself and I am powerful and I am protected. And this is one of the things that Tanya said to me was, you know, if you share some of the things, some of the harassment or some of the things that have been happening with you, your community will circle around you. And I think there's sometimes a fear because I don't want it to seem like I'm complaining. But at the same time, if my energy has been off in some of the chats this year, it's because of some of these side things. And I'm trying to continue to show up with good energy, even when I'm struggling with certain things. So thank you for letting me share a little bit of that. It is not at all to say, poor me. It's just to share. We all are going through some things. And sometimes we have to just keep going through until we find that spark, that shift. And it is not a mindset shift. Some people will say, well, you just need to stop letting it bother you. You just need to stop reading those messages. You just need to stop caring about it. And it's like, you can't always turn off how you feel, especially if you're an emotional person. But what we can do is we can start sharing the truth. We can start talking to people and opening up instead of closing our hearts off. And we can start learning to protect ourselves through spiritual practice. And whatever that means for you. For some people, spiritual practice is that daily morning prayer, sitting with your Bible. For some people, spiritual practice is sitting out in the sun or your tarot. And it's all good. It's whatever's true for you is good. It is an energy shift. And I feel like there's always, it's like peeling an onion. There's always a new level to go through. Yes, Starla, I am not a light switch. And that is exactly the way I feel. It's like, I cannot just turn it off, but I can begin to, it's like, I need to seek balance, not between how I handle or deal with other people, because I cannot control other people's perception of me, other people's messages or decisions, but I can begin to nurture myself and love myself enough that when someone attacks me, I know that it's not the truth, if that makes sense. So I also draw my tarot cards every night and keep this in here. But again, this is not exactly a grimoire or a spell book of shadows. But one of the things that you guys are going to see in the Spooktacular is I'm actually going to have a video, like an extra video of me setting this up. So I have a video here on my channel of me setting up a smaller Archer and Olive bullet journal. That is what I said, like setting up my witchy bullet journal. And I did use that, but I used that witchy bullet journal more the same way that I use this, which is like a daily tarot journal. This one is a B5 size, so it's bigger than A5, but not quite letter size. I've shown you guys, I think, before, because it's 3 colors. It has craft paper, white paper, and black paper. And I have a super fun goodie bag that I can't wait to show you guys. This whole thing of pens is full of pens that write in black paper, like on black and craft paper. So I think I have like a swatch page I can show you somewhere. Oh, maybe it's not in this journal. It's in my other blackout journal. So I'll have to swatch them out for you, but it's like Posca paint pens and Jelly Roll Midnight or Moonlight pens, but they're all pens that are made to work on black paper, and they look so, so good on here. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about what is going to go into this journal and why it's so important to me. So instead of it being a tarot journal, this is going to be what I will call my book of shadows, meaning instead of something that I write in every day that's more like a journal, this will be something that I have as kind of a record or a reference material that I can use for years and years and years to come. So I know Jelly Roll's like old school for a long time ago. So I feel like I missed some things. Rana, I had a dream a few days ago where I was on a plane and it was shifting down so fast that it was about to crash. I woke up terrified. If you ever follow James Wedmore, his recurring nightmare that he used to have was a plane crash like that. Or actually, he wasn't on the plane. He could see the plane crashing. And what he realized is it was a fear that he was going to fail, fear of failure. So an interesting thought. I don't know if you would get anything out of that, but I have a black paper Archer and Olive, but haven't written in it yet, hoarding it yet. Yes, I know. What is it so crazy about hoarding, especially the black paper, because this is feeling of like, oh, it needs to be exactly right and artistic, and I want it to be so pretty. But this is what's going to go into my book of shadows, and I have kind of some notes about it. So the Book of Shadows is technically a Wiccan thing. Now, I don't necessarily identify as Wiccan, although I do have a lot of pagan beliefs or practices, but I always have grown up Christian. So I'm kind of in that place of like, I believe that it all can be true, which I know some people are like, okay, that's wrong, but that's okay. But I'm not necessarily like of any kind of like Wiccan religion or anything like that, but that is where Book of Shadows comes from. And in the 40s and 50s, Gerald Gardner, who was kind of like, I guess, one of the main first people, if you are Wiccan, you will definitely know this more than I will. He had the first Book of Shadows. And back in those times, like 50s, 60s, 70s, there was one Book of Shadows for like the entire coven. And everybody, shared and worked off of those spells and that knowledge and everything else. And then, of course, it became impractical to have one, especially when you end up with covens and groups that are spread all over the world in the digital age. And so now a lot of witches will have their own Book of Shadows. And it's mostly a personal record of the things that you find important to you in your witchcraft or in your spiritual life. So some people do believe that a Book of Shadows is something sacred that you should never show to anyone else. And some people believe that, hey, there's no special magic to keeping it secret, so you can share it. So it's a very personal belief one way or another. But here's the kind of things that can typically go into a Book of Shadows that I plan to kind of use this list for my own Book of Shadows. So spells, incantations, poems, and rituals. So there are certain Wiccan rituals and times of year, like the pagan wheel of the year. Some people will put things on there like different rituals that they do for different times of the year. Then spellcraft, like if you want to do a spell protection on your home, like every time we move into a new home here in the Airbnb, I'm clearing out, I'm doing some spells that kind of clear out the energy and some spells to protect the family. Like I was talking about last week with the salt. So those kind of things, you can put any spells that you use or spells that you find from other people. Now, some people will keep it digital, but some witches firmly believe that you should absolutely handwrite everything into your own Book of Shadows. So again, it's your own beliefs about it. Also, you would put in like your correspondence tables is what I saw it referred to in several places. So this is like your reference materials about your gemstones and what they mean, and certain herbs and what they mean or how they're used, what type of healing properties each herb has, what type of healing properties, like we went over all the crystals last week, like what types of healing properties do those crystals have, that kind of thing. Candles, or if you want to use color magic, like what colored is, like what does purple do in a spell, or if you use a black candle it can draw away negativity, so those kind of things. Oh, thank you, Haley, I appreciate that. Yes, colors and such, exactly. So you can put colors, you can put oils, you can put correspondence tables about the phases of the moon and when it's best to be manifesting, when it's best to be letting go, how that relates to your own life. Then you can put in things about divination. So how to cast runes, what different runes mean. Last week we were talking about the pendulum that Timoana gave to me. It's the amethyst pendulum. So you can keep records of your pendulum things there. You can keep tarot, obviously, like what this tarot card means, not just what does it mean according to the books, but also what is that card like. As you use tarot more and more, you might develop a personal relationship with your tarot cards. And so what does that card typically mean to you in your own personal readings? You can also keep a list of books and resources that you like, or main takeaways. So if you're reading a book on Wicca, and actually Emma Louise in the Discord channel shared a Humble bundle that had like 20 something ebooks on witchcraft type stuff. And it was very, very cool. And you pay what you want, kind of. I think you have to pay at least $18 to get the 20 something books. I just put $50 on there because some of it's going to charity, but I think you have to pay at least 18, but that's kind of like you can just pay the 18 or you can pay extra. But it was like 20 something books on witchcraft and spells and gemstones and different stuff like that. So if you're interested, I don't have the link here, but it is in the Discord channel. But you could take a book that you're reading and you could leave your own things, like your own takeaways, what were your favorite lines about it, those kind of things. You could have recipes. So if you're into kitchen witchery or herbal magics and things like that, you could put your favorite recipes in there, things that you created or things that you found from other people. And you could put like your personal code that you live by, or any rules. Like I think in traditional Wicca, they would put what their coven's rules and beliefs are, what their code, their, I don't know what you would call it, and I don't want to say the wrong thing, but like their coven's beliefs and what guides them. You could also keep a magical record of things that have happened to you or things that you've manifested if you wanted to keep that. Like I could have a record of those signs and synchronicities. And then if you wanted to, your Book of Shadows could be about the experiments that you're doing. Like I'm trying this new recipe, and then you keep track of how it worked. Like, oh, I'm going to try this new spell, and I keep track of what is actually coming to be on it. So, oh, the link is too long for the chat. Oh no. But it's kind of really neat. And I am really, really interested in reading more about Book of Shadows. I'm by no means an expert, but I am very interested in having a record like this for myself, and pulling from that tradition, hopefully in a very respectful way, and getting to know more about how it works for other people. So I'm going to be sharing that setup with you guys and what all I'm putting into it. One of the biggest challenges is how to organize it. So when you have a notebook like this, you can't obviously like put new pages in. It's just already bound, right? So what do? How do you organize? Because really, for it to be a true record, you should always be learning, or you may want to continue learning. So it's kind of like, if I put down all the gemstones that I know, but then I learn about a whole new set of gems that I got, I need to keep room to do it. But if I've been filling it out one page after the other, I won't have space. So yeah. So like Evelyn just said, tip-ins, if you're not familiar with that planner term, it's basically where you tape pages into the spine. So you add to it. Another option would be to tab it out. This is what I think I'm planning to do, is to tab it where it's like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and take 20 pages and I'm going to kind of estimate how many pages I think I'll need over the lifetime of the journal for this particular topic. And Starla says that's why mine is still empty. Yes, I completely understand. That's part of why mine is still empty, is trying to figure out the organization. Now, what some people will do is they'll do a 3-ring binder or like an A5, like I have for my main planner. And that way you can pull pages in and out, and you can put them into page protectors so that if you're doing spells and your candle wax falls all over the page, you're not messing up your page. So that's one possibility of doing it. But yeah, Jennifer says that's why I wouldn't use a bound notebook for a particular project. Yeah, sometimes you need something that has a little bit more flexibility, which is like, it's like speaking to my heart, thinking about the right planner or notebook for the job. But I really wanted to use this one because I really like the type of paper. And there's part of me that actually wonders if it might be good eventually to pull the pages out of this, like take a razor blade and take the pages out and then punch them and put them into a binder that I created my own cover for, unless there are B5 3-ring binders, which I haven't looked into, but that might be kind of cool to take it apart. So we'll see kind of how it goes, but I'm planning to use it. But I also put a link in the description of this video today to Archer and Olive's new Halloween, like, I don't know, collection. They have little potions on the front. They have all kinds of stuff. So go check out that stuff. I'm not an affiliate or anything, but it's just kind of fun. Is that different from the dot grid one? No, this one is also dot grid. They're all, I think all of Archer and Olive stuff is dot grid. Can you guys see that? But it's just got 3 different kinds of paper. They call us the Neapolitan. So you've got craft paper and you have black paper. But I'm wondering if it wouldn't be kind of cool to, Jennifer says, I've done that and put the planner on discs. Oh, yes. So put it like in a happy planner style discs. I am liking that, Jennifer. That's a good idea, because then you can just make your own cover for it. Now, I can't do that on the road because I don't have all my punches, but I can actually do it in the bound version now. But what I'm thinking about doing, and I'll share this with you guys because I'll have a video on how I'm setting this up, is I'm going to have some like foundational pages at the beginning, and then I'm going to tab it and have like 30 pages for gemstones or for, herbs. And then I'll have 30 pages for spell work or, whatever. And then the back part of it will be for things that I feel like are kind of the bigger things, like maybe the books I'm reading or other things like that. But I like that idea of taking the pages out and using it as a disc notebook. But that is a cool idea. I love these kind of themed topics. I wanted to talk to you guys just a little bit about the Spooktacular coming up. So on the 18th, we will begin the Spooktacular. Now, like I said, a lot of the stuff that we're doing for Spooktacular will take place on Facebook and Discord and my website. I will also be posting some of the funny things and all the giveaways, like links to the giveaways. Kind of my website at sarahcannon.com will be the home base for all the giveaways for the most part. But I will give you guys instructions on a daily basis, kind of where to go and what to do and how to go. Oh, I like this. Sorry, this is kind of switching, but leave a margin on the side. Starla, that's a really good idea. Oh, I like this. Leave enough of a margin for the discs, because if I actually wrote all the way to the middle of the page, I'm going to end up cutting stuff off. Things to think about. Check out Mo Howard's YouTube. She uses the disc version and more digital planning. Awesome. I will definitely check that out. Thank you. But just a little sneak peek of the things. So I asked in the Coven on Facebook what you guys would like to have. So I would love to hear your input too, for those of you that were not in the Coven group on Facebook and didn't give an example to that. Is what would you prefer to have for the grand prize giveaway? Because I'm on the road, I don't have all my paperbacks with me. And last year, what we did for the grand prize giveaway was 15 or 16 paperbacks. So it was all of the Sacrifice Me series and all of the Shadow Demons and A Demon's Wrath. It was all of those paperbacks signed. This year, I'm not able to give that away and have them all signed. But I was just asking, like, what would everybody prefer? Either that or a $100 gift card of your choice to Amazon, Apple, Kobo, Barnes and Noble, wherever you want it, or an e-reader. I was thinking it would be super cool to give away an iPad mini because they make it in purple, and it's something I think most people would enjoy. And it's also something that if you got an app, like an Apple, you can download any of the stores. But like if you get a Samsung tablet, you can't look at the Apple store. And I want to include everybody in it. But then I looked at the prices and it's like, oh my gosh, it would cost me like $600 to buy an iPad mini. And I don't know that I can do that right now this year. But we could do a Kindle. I just hate to do stuff that's like Amazon specific because my audience is not always on Amazon. So what a lot of people suggested was just going ahead and doing the paperbacks and having them just sent to the person's house, and then doing signed book plates or just one book that is like signed specifically. So I'm going to still do, but let me know what you think about that. Yeah, gift card, an e-reader. So like you could have your choice. Nook has a new kind of a cool new tablet that you can use to read your Nook, but it's also a regular tablet. You could do a Samsung tablet. We could do a Kindle Paperwhite or something like that. But I was really actually touched that a lot of people said they would still prefer the paperbacks, because I feel like that just touched my heart, because it's like, I thought most people would prefer like $100 gift card or anything. You can still buy books with it. So it's all good either way. There's going to be so many cool giveaways, including an Archer and Olive gift card giveaway. Since I'm not able to send as much stuff out. I'm also going to be, while I'm in the Disney parks, I'm going to be picking out some things from Disney that I'll be sending out. That'll be one of the actual things I send out. I'm going to have lots of free books to give away. There's so many fun things, you guys. I cannot wait. I'm like giddy with excitement about it. But some of the fun events that we're going to do are going to be a watch party on Teleparty. I think that will be on the 30th, I think. Actually, I have like so many notes on the Spooktacular, but now I got to find them. But we're going to be doing tons of cool stuff, you guys. I hope that you're really excited for it, because I am really excited. So we're going to do, there will be a couple of bonus videos, including a bonus story that you guys have never heard before about a haunted ghost tour, which I thought was appropriate because I will be going to New Orleans. We just booked like all of our trips out to the end of December, and we're going to be in New Orleans for 3 days, and I am going to the cemeteries, and I'm going on a haunted ghost tour. So I have a Halloween haunted ghost tour story for you guys. So that's kind of a cool thing that we're going to do. We are doing some grand prize giveaways. There will be some giveaways that every single person will get. Some of them, like last year, like digital wallpapers and various other things that I won't tell you. Some free books for everybody, some different things like that, digital books. There will be gift card giveaways. There will be, there's some good ones that are going to be surprises. And we're going to do that teleparty. And then we'll also have a video of the setup of the Archer and Olive Book of Shadows. So it's a very cool time, and I hope that you guys will come and enjoy that time with me. So we will be continuing. The only live streams will be the Fridays, and then the Wednesday when we do the finale of the Demons Forever. And then we're also going to have a couple bonus things that are coming on Saturday. So it's going to be super sweet. I know that we're 8 minutes in, and I'm just now like, oh yeah, I have questions in the coffee chat. So let me see if I can find them. Oh, I see some people have asked to join. There's only 2 questions in the coven. Ray said, how do you talk yourself into sitting down and writing when you don't feel like writing? I don't always talk myself into doing it, although I should. I will say that I had a long talk with Becca Syme. Some of you know her, but she is a strengths success coach. She's incredible. She works about Clifton strengths. And I did see somebody said something about being futuristic and making your manifestations come true. That's exactly what she says too. So there's 34 strengths. And my number one strength is futuristic. And she said, if you're futuristic and you see something happen, you will make it happen. It will come true. But I just signed up for her strengths for authors class, and I'm so excited to start that coming up on the 18th, I think is when that begins. And what she was saying is that for me, because I have high strategic, my number 2 is strategic, that I shouldn't be trying to force myself into sitting down every day. And I think that this is something I'm really exploring. And I don't know what your situation is, Ray, but that feeling of sometimes we don't need to just force ourselves. I think a lot of people will say every day you got to sit down, you got to follow the same routine. And we're kind of conditioned to be that way from school, that we think we have to sit down every day, we have to be consistent, and that's the way we should be. But not everybody has to be that way. But in terms of inspiration of sitting down when you know you need to sit down and it's time to get going and you've got a deadline and stuff like that, how do you inspire yourself to go? Sometimes what I do, my biggest trick is I will say, I'm just going to set a timer for 10 minutes and I'm just going to sit down and write 10 minutes. And it can suck and it can be the worst thing I ever wrote, but I'm going to sit down and I'm going to do 10 minutes. And usually if I do that, I can convince myself to sit down for 10 minutes. And if I still hate it and I'm really in a bad mood, I'll just get up and walk away. But sometimes, most of the time, if I do that 10 minutes, I'm going to feel like keep going, you know? So I think that's good, but I am exploring the idea. So Becca's last name is Syme, Syme, and her website, I think is betterfasteracademy.com. But she also has a YouTube channel here. It might just be the Quit Cast is her podcast. Quit, like you're quitting life, quitting things, quitting being so hard on yourself. But we could talk about this another time, especially after I've learned some things, and maybe we can have her on heart breathings. I've talked to her about that, doing an interview on heart breathings. But yeah, some people are not routine people. They can be super inconsistent, but they still get things done. And I think that sometimes we have to just stop forcing ourselves into a mold. But we also have to learn how to get it done, because a lot of us fall into the trap of I'm not consistent, but I never get it done. So yeah. So Caitlin said, I find if I'm not consistent, I don't ever do it. So it's really the biggest work that you can ever do is to get to know yourself and how you work instead of trying to work the way everyone tells you. And I have an entire channel where I give people advice on how to do things, but some of that stuff isn't going to work for you, and that's okay. And I'm starting to learn that sometimes my advice is not helpful for some people. And I want to try to learn better about how people work, which is what I'm going to learn from her. Alex, I hope you don't mind a writing question, but could you talk a little bit about how you go about finding first doorways in sequels and further books in a series? I'm likely overthinking this, but I struggle to figure it out sometimes because the protagonist has already stepped into a new world or into their new world in book 1. So I'm going to just talk about this super, super briefly, Alex, but we can go into it even more. That's actually a really good topic for a full video on heart breathings. But I feel like when I'm thinking about the doorway in a sequel book, I'm not thinking so much about what's the new world, but what's the new conflict that my character is getting drawn into. What is changing the way they perceive the world or how they're going to have to show up in the world. So it could be that someone they loved has just been kidnapped. It could be that something they thought was true, they find out is not true at all. Or it could be something that they were taking for granted is now completely blown to bits. Their plan, everything is gone. So it doesn't necessarily have to be the same kind of stepping through a doorway into a new magical world, but instead I look at it as what is it that locks them into the conflict of this book? What is the main conflict? What's the main big bad? What's the main thing they have to face? And what is it that pulls them in and locks them in? That says, okay, there's no turning back now. I have to engage. I have to fight back. I have to show up. I have to leave. I have to whatever. But it's whatever makes them take that first big step of action. That's what the doorway is in the sequels. So I find it helpful to kind of work backwards of like, okay, first things first. What's the big story question? Oh, yes. Let me see. I'm going to text George. Debbie asked, for those of you not watching the live chat later, Debbie asked, can she see the kids? Let me see if I can pull them in. They were outside in the pool because that is where we have been for 2 weeks now. Oh, you know what? I might be able to open the store right next to me and see if I can pull them in. But I think that is a good one. So, yes, you seriously need to check out Becca Syme. She's super brilliant. And I got to talk to her a lot at the at the NINC conference. We were up till midnight almost every night talking. It was crazy and awesome. I was so grateful for her time. All right, so let's see. I don't know if there were any coffee chat questions. Oh no. Okay, there's several coffee chat questions in the Discord channel. I apologize to everybody that I did not answer your questions. But Brooke had asked, how difficult is it to change a pen name later, just as a quick thing? It's not that hard to change your pen name later. You just have to change your book covers, and then you go in and change your name. It's really not that hard to change your pen name later. The biggest thing is that if you have to, some places it may be, I would have to look into it, but some places you might have to pull your book down. So you might end up having to republish with a new name on it. So you might lose some reviews, but other than that, you can change your pen name. So if you just really feel like you don't know yet what you want to use, or you just don't want to settle on anything yet, you can pretty almost everything you do, you can change. There may be some consequences about losing your reviews, but, and Leilani had asked, do you have index card cheat sheets for your index cards? And I don't actually, and I have people ask me for that a lot, but I don't, because in order to actually show you guys what's on my index card, I would have to be pulling directly from someone else's book. And I don't want to have any copyright issues with that. So I can like talk about what I've learned about things, but I can't give you word for word what they say. And I haven't ever like taken the time to kind of think through my own explanations of those ideas and that sort of thing. So I don't have that, but it might be a good thing to try to reach out to those authors and see if I can get permission. Here comes the little Evie to put something like that together. But you can go and pick up what I would recommend doing is picking up the books that I recommend at the end of the plotting videos or at the end of the plotting workbook. Come here. Sure. She was in the pool, so she's all wrapped up. Look at this little girl. Look at you. You want to say hi, everybody?
Ice cream.
Ice cream? That's not ice cream. That's a penguin. Are you pretending? Yeah, she's so cute. But I would recommend going and getting those books and then looking up the different plot points that I discuss and then seeing what you think is the best takeaways from their books. But I don't have anything like that for you in particular right now. I'm sorry to say. That would be a great resource, but I want to make sure that I'm falling in line with copyright laws too on that. You want to see Bubby? That's what she calls Andrew, Bubby. But Bubby's not in here. Bubby's in there playing video games. Don't eat that penguin's head. Don't eat that penguin's head. Her hair is growing out so much, you guys. I just cannot believe it. I can't believe how big she is either. It's so, so crazy.
Get down.
You want to get down? Can you say hi, everybody?
No.
Can you say hi, Debbie?
No.
Can you say Debbie?
That show.
That show? You want that show where Evie's on? That's an Evie show. Can you say hi, Debbie?
Hi, Debbie.
Yay. I don't know if you could hear that, Debbie, but she says hi to you. Hi, Debbie. Oh, here's Andrew. You want to come say hi, everybody? We're going a little bit over the hour, but thank you guys for hanging out.
Bye.
Andrew's also been in the pool. We have definitely discovered through the course of our travels that we hope and pray that when we get settled somewhere, we will have a pool either in our community or in our actual backyard. It is such a luxury and a fun thing to do. All right, you guys. Oh, she's worried that he's going to get burned from this little candle. It's not real, Evie. It's not real. All right, you guys, thank you so much for being here. This was such a cool conversation. Thank you for being a part of it. Thank you for being so supportive and circling around me and listening to my truth. I truly, sincerely believe in every one of you. And I hope that you know that I am truly rooting for you. And I'm excited for all of us moving forward. So I'm excited for the Spooktacular and all the things coming. I will see you guys on Monday for the premiere of the next episode in Demons Forever. And I hope you all have an amazing weekend. Bye. Say bye, Evie.
Bye.
Bye, Andrew.